Yeah, roger, Joe. Unfortunately, there's a lot of QRM, maybe deliberate on the band, so I don't want to give them a report, but it's pretty wide, and they just destroyed this part of the band. I don't know what it is. It could be the radar. I've been up the band to check. It's not up there, but it's very wide down here. It's 20 kcs wide. It is. But you take care. Thanks for everything there. You give us a call anytime. But I'm gotta go now. Thanks for taking the time to record that. But I just couldn't make it out, you know. Take care. Stay safe, Joe. Thanks for giving us a call. M0PTV LZ7CW. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you.
Good copy after 7 years. Today I copy again after 7 years. Microphone to you, over. This is Zulu 32 Charlie Papa uniform. This is Zulu 32 Charlie Papa uniform. Roger, my call is Italy Zulu 7, Quebec Echo November, Queen Echo November, over. Okay, ciao Zuri, thank you so much for you, good luck and good DX from Italy Zulu 7, Queen Echo November, and I hope meet you again in frequency. Ciao ciao.
Say over.
One more time. CQ and 20, CQ and 20 meters, CQ. This is LZ2RS. Lima Zulu 2 Romeo Sugar. Lima Zulu 2 Romeo Sierra. LZ2RS. CQ and 20, CQ. LZ2RS. Over. CQ and 20 meters, CQ, beaming northwest. This is Central Bulgaria, at the Balkans. Lima Zulu 2, Romeo Sugar. Lima Zulu 2, Radio Sugar. LZ2RS, CQ and 20 CQs, beaming northwest. Lima Zulu 2, Romeo Sierra, over. Mike 0 Victor Radio Kilo. Good afternoon, sir. thanks for the call, you 5859, but some QSB on the signal. 5859, this is Central Bulgaria. My name is Rumi, Romeo Uniform, Mike India, Rumi. Back to you, sir. Richard, would you please say, what's your antenna? I miss your antenna, Richard. M0 Victor Radio Kilo Lima Zulu 2 Radio Sugar. A lot of QRM, Richard, right now. A lot of QRM on the frequency, but still I copy. 20 watts. Okay, 20 watts. And inverted V. Roger, copy that, Richard. You're 5'9".
Up now. Well, you went far off, were you? Dub, you really need if you want to, people chuck these aerials up and then they want them to work on the harmonic band, but you need to cut them at the right size on the lowest band as well. I mean, it's pointless having it half cut on the lower band and then getting it to work on the harmonics. Because in my opinion, I think it throws the calculation. It throws it out. Because the wire isn't right. I know you're tuning it with an ATU and R and your balance line, but yeah, it's about 121 foot you need each leg, and then see that's the proper halfway then on top band. That is. 242 foot thereabout. But I will say though, my 80-meter doublet did work on top band. I didn't try it a lot, but it did work. But mine was just an 80-meter one, so. But obviously mine's high, isn't it? So I don't know if that helps it. And just there's nothing on top band, only crap anyway.
I don't copy you very well, but in this moment you're very, very...
Letzte Mal und da haben sie da auch ein bisschen was abgekratzt und nachgeschaut, ob da eben schon ein Anfang ist vom Krieg.
Black and go DX from Italy, Zulu 7, Queen Echo November, in southeast Italy, Adriatic coast.
I don't know. But, can't you make it 121 foot then? You know, you're saying 100 foot. Can't you go another 20 odd foot each to get extra on each end over?
Yeah, I can do it. No, it's ages ago. Well, that's just ages ago. I bought 50 metres away. I could split that in half. I think it was about 175 or 8 foot. Or, you know, after it might be about 170 foot. But I tried that with 450 on. And that worked reasonably well. You know, I never transmitted on top band with it, but it seems to receive alright. But nah, I'm not too bothered about on top band. For me, really, yeah. For what I see, a resident nice for 8 meters. The white work to do it. I haven't cut it yet. I've got a centerpiece here. I've ordered more of that mediate coax. I can do one run then and try it, and then when I get the hex beam and that sorted, I'll put a dipole underneath that then for 80. No, it's the double assembly. It's not too bad enough for the vertical for 20. As you said the other day, so I can't have the white area into that. So that was the idea with the doublet. No, I'll leave it as it is for now, and then I'll wait till this coax comes, and I'll throw. There'll be an inverted V dipole, it'll be for 80. I'll just go out with the analyzer then. I'll just tune it down. Get a resonance for about 3.75 volts, and then that should do me then. So no, I've noticed I'm not getting as much noise with this feeder than the last one. I was getting like an F7 of noise with the other one, but I don't know if it's band conditions. I'm getting about F5, F6 now. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm not happy with it the way it is, so I'm going to have to try something different, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if, you know, like for me, if I wasn't bothered, which I'm not bothered about other bands, you know, I'm not bothered about having an antenna that does multi-bands, you know, I mean, obviously, because I got a beam for the other bands anyway, 20 metres and upwards. So it's only 80 and 40 really, and I will say I still try and get separate antennas for each band. I can, if I want my 80 meter dipole to work properly on 40, I need to feed it with balanced feeder, which I don't like balanced because it's obviously it's untidy to look at. I can't put it underground with my other coax because it's not to be near any metal or other metal, and it does cause RF. You get a lot of RF problems with it as well. You know, it's the best way of feeding, but a lot of people can. You know, this is another thing that people do as well. They use balanced feeder to feed a balanced antenna, but yet their dipole leg isn't balanced. You know, they got one leg going one way, one going the other way, and if that's the case, it's a waste of time. It's not working properly, over.
G8 NOS, listening.
Yeah, got you there, NOS.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, at the moment,
when you feed an antenna with balance, your antenna needs to be balanced as well. You know, like, okay, inverted with V isn't ideal, but inverted V, long as each leg sort of equal in angle. But in my scenario, one leg was going, like one way, and the other leg was coming down the mast vertical obviously, and I was feeding that with 450, which it wasn't a balanced aerial in reality, really, win over.
Yeah. I'm quite fortunate with this one. This one's got a nice angle to ask me to do it like 90 degrees, I think. So I know what you mean. You got one vertical like that. It's as you're saying. It works because the way it is at the moment. You're always a strong signal this way anyway. So it's working for you anyway. So it might not say in the book, but you just got to try these things out.
Yeah, well, when I put my loop up now, my next loop, I'm going to have the feed point 85 feet, but the rest of the area will only be, I don't know, 25, 30 feet off the ground. And the G8 station, sorry about that. I didn't write the call sign down. G8 station, go ahead.
Yes, Golf 8, November, Oscar, Florida. Name's Glenn. Golf Lima Echo, November. I'm just north of Stratford-upon-Avon. From Germany 8, November, Oscar, Florida, over.
Yeah, okay, Glenn. Yeah, we have spoke before. I think you sold a 950, didn't you, to Keith there? Oh, and you sold. I put a lad in touch with you for the 850 and the DSP 100. Because I knew a lad that was bought an 850, and I said you need a DSP, but it was Andy in Ireland. I put him in. Well, I suggested that you might have had one, and I believe he did buy it at Glenover.
Yes, thank you very much for that. He said that he'd spoken to you when he contacted me by email, and yes, he's got it. They lost the DPD lost the DSP 100 for a while, but then it suddenly appeared, and it was all going over. He got the 850 before the 1st of January, and then the DSP 100 for some reason got delayed until after the 1st of January. It needed customs papers, so it came back to me. I put all the customs papers on it, and then he got it, but they never even tore open the envelope with the customs papers in it. Anyway, he's got it, that's the main thing, and he's delighted with it. And yes, I sold the 950 to Keith, and I've got a TS 690 that I'm going to be selling soon as well. So there you go. Anyway, nice to hear you in. I've just put my 80 meter, well, partly put up my 80 meter aerial again, and didn't quite yet. More to put the other bit up, but anyway, it's working. From G8 NOF.
Yeah, well, we had a bit of a laugh about, not a laugh, you know what I mean, but it was a bit, really, the thing that he actually wanted, the most important part, that he was the DSP, and I thought, crikey, it would have been a bit, if it hadn't have been found, that would have been an awful thing to happen, really, because it was the DSP that he wanted more than anything, Glenover.
Yeah, it was touch and go. Anyway, when it came back to me, he said that he would pay for it to be returned to him. And I said, well, no, I paid for it to go back to him. But I said you've got to pay for insurance for it. So he insured it for 400 quid. I think it's 400 quid. He paid that, and I paid for it to go back again. But anyway, he's got it. That's the main thing, and he's happy with it. I've not heard him on the air though, but he does seem to be happy with it, which is a good thing. And yeah, you're right. It'd be disastrous to lose something like that, because it was mint condition, and it was perfect. From G8 NOS.
Yeah. I mean, I've had the 850 line up with the DSP about 20 years ago. I had that, like. Okay then, Glenn, yeah. Well, it's coming up 3 o'clock now. I just talking to a friend of mine up in Anglesey. Perhaps you can give him a call there. Sounding good anyway. Sounding good. What radio are you running, Glenn? Are you on the one of the SDR radios, or what you on?
Well, at the moment I'm on that homebrew SDR. It's sort of homebrew. It's the main board from the Anand 7000 is called an Orion Mark II board. It's a 2-watt SDR, a 16-bit SDR with a full dual receiver with pure signal, and I built an interface around it, and built an LD MOS amplifier which I'm running at the moment, and that's what I'm on. It's the Orion board. And I've not put pictures of it yet on the QRZ, but I will do. And what else did I build around it? A power supply, an audio amplifier, a pre-selector as well. I built a pre-selector for it, but that's working very well, and the pure signal works well. So that's what I'm on at the moment, and I think I'm about 4 kilohertz wide. Hopefully it's sounding all right. Anyway, perhaps you'd comment before you go. From G8NOF.
Yeah, very good, Glenn. You know, when you say like an Orion board, then, and it's what's in the Anand. I mean, is that something that Anand buy from someone else to make, or you buy? Is that something you have to buy from Anand, or is it you buy them from someone else? And like, is that what Anand do as well, over?
Well, the board, Apache Labs. Apache Labs are the company that made all the Anand products, and they used to sell the main board from the Anand 100, which is called the Hermes board, and I've got a couple of them here. And then they used to sell the main board from the Anand 7000. It's the heart of the Anand 7000, and they used to sell that. And I bought one. And I think there's only 2 people in the UK did it and built something around it. One of them's Jeff, GW3UZS, down in Cardiff, and myself. And I like building stuff, and I enjoyed building the whole thing around the board, because it's a 2-watt HF to 6 meters transceiver with dual received and 2 FPGAs, so it's true. You're running two receivers, so you can do diversity with it, and of course the pure signal, which is running at the moment. So that's what the radio is. I'm still working on it. I've got another module I want to build. I want to build a separate power supply for it, an analog power supply, and it's also that only gives 2 watts out. So I built this LD MOS amplifier to take it up to 400 watts, but it's running about 100 watts at the minute. That's all. I'm just coaching along with this amplifier, and that's on 50 volts. But the Apache Labs, we were based in India. Now I think they're in Australia. They stopped selling that board. They don't sell it anymore, which is a shame. But it's been a great project, and it works very well from G8NOF.
Yeah, because I'm not a fan of a lot of the SDRs that are here. You know, I know they're fantastic on receive, but a lot of them, I'm never really that keen on the TX side of them. You know what I hear anyway. But you've got that really good. It's really nice, clean. You know, it's pure. You know, it's not. There's no tearing in there. Or it's really good. It is really good. All right then, Glenn, I'll tell you what, see if you can hear, I'll have to go in a minute, see if you can hear Win, Mike Whiskey 0 Sugar Bravo. He's up in Anglesey there, Glenn, over.
Yeah, okay, Ian. I'll see you if you've got to go. I won't hold you, but yeah, it's all down to the setting up on SDRs. They're all alright. They're all concerned like this. It's just the way you set them up. The early flexes sounded terrible because people didn't know how to set them up. It's different to other radios. Anyway, nice to speak to you. Hope you have good luck with that cat, and you're going to cut the hole in the shed. We've got cats, so you're like a cat. I'm quite fond of cats. So So anyway, I'll leave you to it and see if Mike Whiskey Zero Sugar Bravo can hear me from G8 NOF. Cheerio.
Yeah, I'm not going yet. I'm just staying here for another 10 minutes. But yeah, that's one thing with SDRs. To be honest, everyone I hear, majority of them on the air, they've all got a tear-in on that.
Yeah, thanks Ian, and good afternoon to you there, Glenn. Listening with interest there with the SDR. Very interesting, and compliments to you for the sound of that. Sounds fantastic. Lovely sounding audio, Glenn. The name view is Win, by the way, Whiskey Yankee November, and we're up on the island of Anglesey, where it's not a bad day today. See how your coffee anyway, Glenn. Golf 8 November Oscar Fox from MW0 SSB, over.
Okay, Win. Good morning to you on Anglesey. It's Glenn, you're right, and I'm near Stratford-upon-Avon, just north of Stratford-upon-Avon. And yeah, we've got a lovely day here. I'm suffering a bit. I just come back from the dentist and had a root canal filling. Four canals in the root of the tooth, so it's aching a bit at the minute. But yes, and on the antenna, I should say, I did have up. I normally use for 160 and 80. I had a halfway dipole, top band dipole up, which was off centre fed, that used on 80 and 160. It wasn't particularly good. Anyway, the decision was made for me towards the end of last summer when we had some strong winds. And this antenna is held between two oak trees. One of the oak trees, a couple of big branches broke off and took one leg out of it. So I thought that's enough. I'd put it up twice. So I thought, sod it, I'll get rid of it. And yesterday I put up one leg of a 204-foot flat top doublet. One leg of it is, the centre's up at 60 feet, and one end is in the oak tree at 60 feet, but the other end is just sloping to one of the apple trees, because tomorrow I've got the tree surgeons coming in to cut some limbs off the tree that where the limbs fell off. They were rotten, and there's a few more up there, so they're coming tomorrow to do that work, and consequently I'm going to use them to put the other end of this antenna up, throw a line over the at top of the tree, and pull the other leg of this thing up. So it's only sort of sloping at one end, and I've not got a balun on the end of it yet. I've just got a line isolator. I've got to measure the impedance of the feeder and see what's needed, whether it's a 1-to-1 or a 4-to-1. So that's the story, and your signal, by the way, is 5.9 plus a bit, and I think this antenna is better than the halfway dipole on this band, even though it's got one leg down at one side. It seems a bit better. I'm actually using it on transmit and receive. I normally receive on a pair of loops, which you'll see at the bottom of the QRZ page. Anyway, I'll put it round back to Ian. GW4XLS in the group from G8 NOF.
You know, when you measure impedance at the feed point of an antenna, obviously, if your antenna's in the air, do you use a half wave of coax? Obviously, with the velocity factor taken into consideration. How do you do it, Glenn?
Well, I'll just measure it. I've got a vector analyzer, and I'll just measure it at the feed point where it comes down over the open wire feeder. I'll just measure it at that point. I'll short the feeders out first to get rid of any static, or choke it off to ground, so because it could have some static on it, and then measure the impedance at that point, because it's at that point that I want, obviously at that point I want the impedance to be as close to 50 ohms resistive as possible. At the moment, and that will only be on one band. It's only going to be that on one band, but I've got a tuner at the moment that's tuning it, so it's got it down. It's about 1.15 to 1, but it's at that feed point, and essentially a 204-foot flat top doublet is a double size G5RV, and the feeder's a bit long, so I want to measure it and then shorten it. because with it being ladder line, I just want it to hang straight down to about a foot above the ground, but there's quite a few foot left, as I've made it a twin size G5 RV. So I shall measure it there at that point, and then see as close as I really, if I could get it as resistive as possible, because the tune will take the rest out. I don't want it reactive, just resistive, so it doesn't. So the feeder itself is not radiating so much from G8 NOF.
Yeah, no, because I'm going to try a loop if I am, and I was debating. Well, I was talking to a friend of mine on WhatsApp the other day, and he's pretty keen on with antennas, isn't he? Because I wasn't sure whether to use a 1-to-1 balun. Sorry, not a 1-to-1, a 2-to-1 balun, or a 4-to-1 balun. And then I've seen like 1-to-2 baluns. If you're using a delta loop, I'm sure I've seen on a delta loop, I might be wrong on this, whether there was a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-2. But anyway, I'm putting a horizontal loop up. And a lot of people are using 4-to-1s, and I can't even remember now what the impedance was, what I'd seen. But I thought, well, I better off with a 2-to-1 balun. Anyway, so I don't know if you know that it's all swings and it's all what objects are there. I mean, I don't know. Most people haven't got clear space, so I don't know if all that stuff affects the impedance. But anyway, my plan was to put the antenna at the right height, feed it with coax, halfway for this band, 80 meters, plus, with the velocity factor into consideration, and then find out what the impedance is there with my analyzer, and then obviously a balun to suit. So that's what I'm going to do anyway. Do you know what the impedance is of a horizontal, a square loop? What it is in theory, over?
I don't actually. I know that a dipole, a resonant dipole, 75 ohms at the top. But if you, it depends on you're really better measuring the impedance, as you say, at the end of you're using a loop at the end of your feeder, and see what you've got. And if it's say 450 ohms, then you want a 9-to-1 balun. If it was 200 ohms, you want a 4-to-1 balun. And if it was 100 ohms, you'd want a 1-to-1 balun. And if it was 50 ohms, you wouldn't need a balun. Or you just have a 1-to-1 balun, just to go from unbalanced to balanced. It depends how you feed it. But at the end of the day, nobody can get a perfect antenna up. I mean, I'm going to have to compromise, because there's too much. Theoretically, I built it theoretically, and there's too much feeder at the bottom, and you can't just coil it up with a ladder line. So I'm going to have to shorten it and put a matching transformer at that point. But I need to measure the impedance. But that's going to be different. If you want it multi-band, it'll be different. So I'll have to make a compromise and probably match it for 80. And then, because I only want it for 80 and 160, the beam on the tower will do 40. So I'll probably just make it match it for 80 and then tune the rest out for 160, and see what happens. Because you can't get out the perfect antenna. The only perfect antenna I've been up in free space with nothing around it, with a bloody great big long feeder down to earth. So every antenna you've got to compromise, but it's trying to make the most important thing is to get as much RF out as possible, and find on the horizontal loop. That should be good. I was going to put one of those up, but quite high angle radiation from those, so it'd be quite good for sort of much good for DX, because you want the low angle radiation in DX. That's why quarter wave verticals are the best for DX, because they're very low angle radiation, particularly if you run them against a playing. Anyway, hope that helps. Some G808.
Yeah, well, I don't want any DX on this band. Any DX will be on for me on 20. I mean, my aerial at the moment on here works extremely well. I don't think it works as good as